What's up, everybody? We are the Three Amigos. I'm Mike.
Three Amigos. I'm Nick.
I'm Steph.
We are here to once again make a top 10
Once again,
list.
blow your minds with our knowledge about board games.
Yeah, heck of smart, good taste
So
and
many
stuff.
board games.
So many board games, and by meaning we know so much about board games. Mostly Steph knows about board games, and we try not to mess it
We
up.
just ride our coattails.
That's it.
That's mostly what we're here for.
That's what we're gonna do. But you know what? I'll say this: people pay too much attention to like the top 100 of BGG. It's all about the top 100.
Yeah.
What about the top 1,000?
Yeah, there's so many games.
What about specifically 1,000 to 1,100?
Yeah.
That sounds like a good list.
It's a great section of games right there.
It is a great second game. So we're going to do, Steph came up with the idea for this list. We thought it was super interesting. We're going to do, it's going to be kind of interesting. So we're basically looking at the games from the top 1,000 to 1,100.
Yes.
So that 100 of games. So the BGG list is going to be 1,001 to 1,010.
Right.
And then we're able to pick from that whole 100. And we're kind of comparing the first 1,000.
Yeah.
Right there. You know, the first 100 of the first 1,000. You understand what I'm talking about.
Point is, there's some good games in there.
There's
So, yeah,
a
we're gonna
lot of
see.
great, because you're always like, oh, if it's out of the 1,000, is it even, has
Must be
anyone
all
even
monopolies
played
down
it?
there.
Yeah, and you're like, oh no, there's a lot of really great games up here.
Yes.
So we're looking at, we're able to pick from 1,001 to 1,100, and the BGG list will be that first 10 there. And then we're going to compare our kind of list in that 100. How do we compare and stuff like that? And so it's going to be kind of an interesting list. Let us know down in the comments below what you think of it. If you'd like us to do kind of more
we can do
these
any range of numbers.
specific lists instead of like themes or whatever. But
Yeah.
let's go ahead and get into it, huh?
Yeah.
I think we should. Let's go ahead and start with, I guess we know where it's going to rank. It's going to be
Oh, it's going to be so easy.
1,010.
You just got to
Board
count
Game
up by
Geek and-
one every time.
It's going to
It's
be
gonna
so easy.
great. So let's start with Board Game Geek's number 10.
And Board Games number 10 is 1010, as you probably figured out, and that is Axis and Allies Europe 1940.
What a name.
So, Steph, we know you're a huge fan of this game. Why don't you talk about this one?
I actually have never played an Axis and Allies game. It doesn't really
Neither
seem
have we.
like my kind of game. I'm not.
No.
I mean, it's a war type game, right? So I'm not like.
Yeah.
I'm not about that. So that's not my thing. Maybe one day I'll play it. It's supposed to be good. People love it. So.
Yeah, and I do want to play one of these big war games once. I don't think I'm going to like it, but I just would like to try it.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is, I looked at pictures and stuff. It's a big war game, but now there's like, this specific one, there's like neutral territories that you can invade, but there's neutral territories that are like Axis leaning versus Allied leaning and stuff like that. And I think that's kind of the twist on this version of Axis and Allies. But it's still Axis and Allies, it's like one of those ones where they have a giant board, but then there's that clear like cellophane sheet over it, so that you can like move stuff. And I'm like, oh, it's like that kind of war game.
You move
like,
battalions and things.
Yeah, so it's a big old Axis and Allies game. It's none of our kind of game,
Yeah.
but ultimately they've got a lot of legs. They got a lot of legs out of that Axis and Allies.
Big time, big time. It's a big war game that resembles a big war, so it makes sense. It's not going to be some like tiny abstract game.
No.
But yeah, that's number 10 from Board Game Geek. Let's get into our number 10.
Our number 10 is Tides of Time, coming in at 1065.
Yeah,
Yo.
Tides of Time.
Little
It's a
two-player
micro game.
Little, yeah, I guess it is a micro game. It's
Yeah.
20 cards, something like that. Right?
micro-ish anyway.
It's a micro game with tarot-sized cards, so it's kind of confusing because it's big but small.
There's not many cards, but boy, do they give you some value in those cards that they do have.
They sure do.
This is a set collection game, ultimately. A set collection drafting game.
For 2 players, so it's a 2-player drafting game with set collection.
Yes. So, Steph, what makes you like Tides of Time?
What's really great is just the choices that you have to make, because between round to round, you are like flipping, you're like keeping cards and putting cards back, and you have to get rid of cards, and so it's like it's the crunch of like, what are you trying to keep? What are you trying to get rid of? There's different sets you're trying to do. But have you guys played Tides of Madness? Which I think just brings it up
That's the one we
another
have.
notch.
We love Tides of Time, but Tides of Madness we like a little bit better because we like the added madness mechanic, which is both outstanding. Yeah.
I always push my luck with Insanity with that one, so
Oh, yeah.
I like that one just
So
a little
nuts.
bit more. But both are really great.
Yeah, there is a cool thing of trying to build towards something because you get to keep a card in between rounds. And you kind of build toward, certain sets. And the one thing I like is that a lot of the cards, if they're of a certain suit, usually they're going to help you score suits that are not, that card is not part of. So you kind of are like, well, if I put this down, that's a blue, but I need greens, and how to split that attention.
Yeah,
so,
and it's two-player drafting, so it's that kind of like, what can you sacrifice, what can you get rid of? The other opponent's gonna get points, so you're like, what can you give them to make it so they can't win, but then hold stuff back, and every round you score your hand, but then you get to keep one of your cards face up. That'll just be in your next hand, so you're like, okay, now I know I have this card, and then you draft per normal, and so then your next hand's a little bit bigger, but you can kind of work around that one. Then you keep another one, you play another round, and it's really, really fun. That works super well, super quick. The art also is gorgeous in the game. And it's just like a little drafting game. It doesn't need to be that pretty, but it totally is, and it's great. So Tides of Time, Tides of Madness, we like a little bit better. Looks like Steph does as well.
Yeah.
But they're both outstanding. And they're a good little two-player drafting game.
Go check them out.
For sure.
In the meantime, we'll get into Board Game Geeks number 9.
Number 1009 is Mykerinos, it looks like.
Mykerinos.
Have you guys played this one?
No,
I looked up a little bit. You're like archaeologists?
Yeah, I mean,
Okay,
the theme isn't really there. I mean,
yeah.
The theme is kind of weak.
I can tell you that from the cover.
But it's
that cover, you're like, well, this game's got no theme.
Yeah, so it's definitely more abstract. You are placing cubes, trying to gain majorities on these different tiles, and when you place a cube, you just place it down on any space, or you can branch off from that one cube that we've already done, but there's people trying to block you, there's pyramids in the way, like there's blocking things on the actual tiles itself. But if you gain majority, you'll either get to gain that tile at the end of the round, or you'll gain some presence in the museum. And the museum is actually where you score all your points, and you score points based on the people that you collect, the tiles that you collect. So once you have a tile, you actually get an ongoing ability for like the future rounds. And so
that's cool.
You want to collect tiles because they are people and give you like cool abilities, but you also want to get placement in the museum. So because that's your multiplier. So if you have a cube that scores you 2 points for every orange diamond that you have, well, your orange diamond people will score. So all your people that you collect, if you don't have anything in the museum, you're not going to get any points. So it's like, you have to balance winning these things. Yeah, it's a nice little like tug of war, area control. I'm really bad at it.
It does sound cool, though.
It does sound cool. Yeah, I was looking up a little bit. I was like, this actually looks, it looks very, themeless, stuff like that. But I was like, this actually looks pretty cool, yeah.
Yeah, I'm into that.
Yeah, if you are interested, it is on boitdejus.net. This is where I played most recently this year because of the quarantines again. So
yeah, of course. Right?
Yeah, everything's resurfacing if it's online. So we've got to play.
Yeah, seriously. Right if being online, this is a good time to get your game online, publishers.
Get after it, y'all. We can boost this beyond 1009. But that's Board Game Geeks number 9.
Yeah.
Mykerinos.
Number 9. Mykerinos. Boom. Hour number 9.
Our number 9 is 1083, Patchistory. Now, do you guys like big Civ games? Because this is a pretty big Civ game.
I'm thinking more and more, yes, I really do like them a lot.
I think you like them more than me. I do like them, but it's in a very occasional thing that I can do. I'm not into it.
But you do play a lot of Civ 6 on the Switch, though.
I do.
So you get your Civ fix elsewhere.
I have played dozens of hours of Civ 6.
Yeah, so let me give you why this is great. This is great because you are basically bidding on cards that are out there. 2-player is a little bit more interesting, I think. I really like it with any number of players, but I like it 2-player because when you pick a card, when you're bidding for cards, you are spending money and you get to choose which side of the card you're going to use. So when you get a card, you get to put it into your tableau. You're like patching it in, if you will. And so you have to cover at least one square or go under at least one square, but you can't go under water. And there's always rules about that. But your grid can only be so big. So you can't just go like, woo, and go all over the place. You have to kind of confine everything. And you're going to be covering up things you might want, but you're going to probably be getting something better. And so it's a Civ game, so you're building up your big empire, and you're going to get some people and get you some cool bonuses, and you're just managing all of that. And then there's like so many different phases, but I really like the interesting bidding mechanic that they have going on to try and get the tiles you want, because you can't like rotate these tiles in any way. They have to go in the way that they look like they should go in. And so you're managing your money and your food, and there's upkeep and all, the whole Civ deal. And so it's a really cool game. Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds really interesting. I like the idea of like covering up things you like to hopefully make it something better for yourself, but that might shift the overall kind of direction you're going and stuff. That sounds super interesting. Especially with covering things up and stuff. That is very intriguing. You're speaking my lingo.
Yeah, I mean, if you like Civ games at all, this is definitely one that you should look for. It's really cool.
Awesome. I love that. That's why it's our number 9, everybody.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and get into Board Game Geek's number 8.
All right, at 1008, we have New Angeles.
This has to be like an alien game or something. This reminds me of like
No.
Battle LA or...
I don't think so.
It does sound like Battle.
Sounds like it's
LA,
like, aliens have taken over LA and now you gotta like, I don't know, go be Men in Black or
Steph,
something.
have you played
Well,
this one?
yeah, I mean, maybe, were there aliens in it? I mean, maybe there were. I don't remember aliens in it.
I don't know
It's
anything
like
about
space.
the game.
I know it's like in the future, and like the biggest city in the world is New Angeles, obviously.
Okay.
And there's like they have like a big space elevator to the moon, essentially. And so, and I think it's a game where you're trying to build out your corporation or your
Yeah, it's definitely
trying to do as best you
corporation,
can.
but you're like trying to like work with others because it's like secret something or other. I played it and I really just hated it. It was just oh my god.
I do know that, yeah, it's like semi-cooperative.
I don't remember it other than my like strong feelings about it because it was just not a good experience.
Tells you all you need to know. So if you like New Angeles, let us know a little bit more about it.
Yeah, because maybe you had a better experience than I did, and yeah.
I have heard pretty mixed reviews on it, which is why I've never really looked into it more. Because when it first came out, everyone was like, "Ooh, this new game, New Angeles, seems very, very cool." And then like I feel like it came out, and everyone was kind of like, "Oh, all right," and that was it. And so like maybe we're wrong. Put it down in the comments below if you like it. But I've never had much interest in like seeking it out.
Yeah.
Same.
And it was really long, so that didn't help. But it was a con game, and I was already tired by that point. I think so. It was just like it was hard.
That's tricky. Yeah, that's tough. But hey, it's number 8.
Number 8.
On BGG's list. 1008 overall.
Hey,
not bad.
Yeah.
Not bad for all the games of all time.
Right,
Hey,
yeah.
who knows?
do no.
But in the meantime, let's get into our number 8.
Our number 8 is 1063, called Raccoon Tycoon. Amazing art.
The art of this game.
I mean, it's just, it's like you have to say it when you say Raccoon Tycoon. Amazing art.
yeah.
Like, it's like.
Yeah, because ultimately it's a super light game that is like floated a little bit by like its very beautiful aesthetic. I mean, you got these fancy animals, and it just looks like a nice. I look at Raccoon Tycoon and the life everyone's living. I'm like, man, that must be a life of leisure. It must just be easy. You're kind of in the woods.
Yeah.
It's just nice and
Fat
peaceful.
catting,
Fat cat living.
Yeah.
But this is a game where you're doing a few different things. You're either buying some buildings to help with different production and stuff. You can play a price and production card, which will give you some goods and things. And then we'll also manipulate a market, meaning the values of like wood and coal and luxury items and stuff like that. And then you can also sell your goods. So once the price goes up on something, you can sell a bunch of wood at whatever the current market rate is, and that every unit of wood you sell will drop its value in the market. So there's this market manipulation aspect to it. And you're just going to use that money to then go back into buying buildings, buying towns. You can hold auctions for railroads, which are where the animal cards come in. And that's some super simple set collection. So this was a game I really enjoyed for the fact that it looks really, really nice. And it's an incredibly accessible game because there's only a couple things you do, really.
Yeah.
And then you can get right into playing. So that's what when I played it, I thought it was going to be like a heavier game.
Yeah, it does seem like a...
Just because the art's really nice, and then people taught it to me in like literally 4 minutes, and then we were off and playing. And so I got it immediately because I was like, this is fantastic.
Yeah.
You can explain it and start playing straight away.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know? So yeah, Raccoon Tycoon is cool. I like it.
I had a good time playing it too, so yeah.
Bam. Yeah. That's why it's on our list.
That's
folks.
why it's on the
list. Pretty dang good. I mean, it's weird. We put games we like on the list, but Raccoon Tycoon is a really nice, lighter game with some great art. So check it out. In the meantime, we'll get into Board Game Geek's number 7.
Board Game Geeks number 7 is 1007 overall, and that is the Magic Labyrinth.
Ooh, spooky or maze-like. I don't know.
So I looked up this one, and it's kind of an interesting one. So it's kind of like a 3D board. Steph, have you played this one?
I have not. It's been on my want to play list for years.
It seems very fun. So it's like a little 3D board. Inside the 3D board is like a labyrinth. There's like a bunch of maze. And essentially each person has a little mage and has a magnet on the bottom of it. And underneath the board is a ball. And you're essentially trying to make your way around this labyrinth in there. And if you ever hit a wall and knock off the ball that's attached to your mage, you then have to start over again. So you're trying to like memorize where to go, and you're like kind of knocking off. You're like, oh, okay, so that's over there. And so then you have to like go back, and then you have to like try to make your way through this labyrinth.
That's awesome.
And I was like, that is a cool idea.
I am all in. Let's go.
I know. It sounds really awesome, right?
Yeah.
You have to set it up like for the next game when you put it away, I think. So like you don't really remember where you put the magnet, because otherwise it will be the same game every time. You have to like switch it up, but otherwise, it seems really cool.
Yeah, this is one I hope to see at a convention sometime, because like I don't know if there's like limited playability because of that, but it'd be a great one to not have, so you only play it every so often, so then you're never really going to remember where things are.
Yeah.
That sounds incredibly
It seems
like,
real
just
fun.
a fun time. Yeah. Oh, that's great.
Yeah, it seems
I'm so
real
excited
fun.
about it.
I really want to try it out. I was like, oh, this looks real interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, what a cool little idea. But that's Board Geeks number 7. It seems like a blast.
That's awesome. Let's go ahead and get into our number 7.
Our number 7 is 1081, called Haspelknecht, or as I call it, Hackle Smackle.
Hackle smackle.
Hackle smackle.
Gotta smack that hackle, dude.
I rename lots of
Once in a
games
while.
that I don't normally would say on a general.
Haspel-
Haspelknecht. How about Hackle Smackle?
Yeah, hackle
As long
smackle.
as everyone knows what you're talking about, it's fine, right?
Most people know at this point.
We'll take over, Steph, because we know. This game, you are
Hackle
Schnackle the
smackle.
Hacklin.
Yeah.
And the Hacklin is an evil overlord, and
you
you
wanna
have
get-
to schnackle them.
And you gotta schnackle them at the right price.
At the right price.
Very
Yeah, 'cause
important.
There's a flowing market of schlackles.
Yep.
Right.
Okay. Go ahead, Steph.
It sounds like a great game, so you should probably make it.
We're about to lose our whole German audience, so you should probably talk about why you like this game.
So it's all about mining coal, because what's more fun than coal?
The schnackle, yeah.
So hackle schmackle is just the sound of coughing from the coal mines.
So every game there's like this like hex grid of technologies and cool things that you can do. So as you're going, you're trying to like gain more technology and more abilities to help mine your coal faster and more efficient. So you're trying to get that coal out of your mine and sell it and get wood and all these different things. It's a resource manipulation. You're just trying to do all the stuff to get all the points. You know, it's standard Euro. I love it.
Yeah, sounds like some dry Euro, and I love it.
That's why it's good. Get the stuffs, get the monies,
Yeah.
get the monies, turn it into points,
Turn into
stuff.
other stuff for other stuff, and oof, that sounds great.
Have a hackle on the way on out.
Yeah.
It's like a funnel cake, I think.
with the riveting
delicious.
theme of mining coal.
Yeah,
But no,
that sounds
it
great.
is way better than what it sounds like. It's just, so there's like turns, and so you have so many seasons, and every season you gotta do something, you get cool bonuses, and you just have to manage it all very well. There's tons of pre-planning. You have to think about everything, and that's what I like, so.
I love
sounds
it.
great. Honest to God, it sounds great.
That's why Hackle Schmackle is our number 7,
Yeah.
despite its actual name. We love it, and that's why it's there. So let's go ahead and get into Board Game Geeks number 6.
Doing this again, fam. We're doing this again.
The official double crossover.
Double
Double,
crossover.
double.
Indeed. So the double crossover is 1006 for both of us, and that is Fireball Island, the Curse of Vul-kar.
The Kosovo.
The Curse of Vul-kar.
Curse of Vul-kar. It's a big 3D board game, another 3D board game where you are running around an island trying to pick up treasure and take pictures and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But Vul-kar is this deity that I guess is the island, really.
I guess,
He doesn't
yeah.
really love people around, and so this is a game where you flick marbles at your opponents and stuff. There's a bunch of fireballs set about the island, and then Vul-kar, occasionally cataclysms will happen, and Vul-kar will shoot fireballs out of its mouth. And it's just stupid fun.
Yeah.
It's always a game that we, if we're suggesting to people, I've had people try to get very strategic and start thinking about this. I'm like, don't forget, this is a game where you're flicking marbles at people. Operate at that level.
Yeah, that level.
Talk some smack, knock some people over, have a good time, and then get out.
The
It's
game
super fun.
should be 45 minutes, max an hour. Mike has played a 2.5-hour game of this.
What?
That's not the
Don't
right
do
way to
that.
play. I will tell you right now, that is the wrong way to play.
Yeah.
Oh my
We're
god.
min-maxing
No,
Fireball
I don't
Island.
even know how that's possible. We always say when we play this game, we're like, if you're trying to play like deep strategy, go play something else. Like really, just this game is fun. It's
Yeah.
just all about fun. Just have dumb fun. Like don't try to like min-max. Who cares if you win? Just like it's just like flick
Just-
marbles at people.
yeah.
It's like it's just.
Try to pull off a trick shot. That's what you should be doing.
That's what you want. But nonetheless, the game is honestly really, really fun. It's very
Yeah.
simple. You're playing cards. The cards allow you to move. They also might give you a little special ability. Like, again, you flick a marble. When you flick a marble, you're trying to knock over someone's character. If you knock over their character, they have to give you a treasure. The board, as Mike said, is 3D, and it has all these, like, chutes everywhere.
These pathways and
Yeah,
things.
and so when you flick a marble, even if you miss someone, it could then start going down these chutes and then hit someone else. Or even hit yourself, and you
Yeah.
can like knock yourself over, which is bad. And then when cataclysms happen, you take marbles and you drop them down the head of Vul-kar, and the Vul-kar has 3 chutes it could potentially come out of.
So you don't know what's going to happen.
So you don't know where they're going to go, what's going to go. The whole island starts shaking, which knocks people over, which is the same as you knocking them over with a fireball.
It's an earthquake.
It's very, very fun. It's silly. Play it and just have fun. Don't try and strategize around it. There is strategy to it, but like, why? Just
Yeah.
have fun and throw marbles at people.
Just enjoy the chaos. It's barely controlled chaos that Restoration Games brought back, and now it's card driven. So you're not just rolling a die and moving anymore, and those cards give you powers and stuff. So now it adds just enough like gameriness to it to help it along. It kind of helps keep things moving.
totally.
So yeah, Fireball Island is super fun. It's exactly what it looks like it is. It's just silly and a good time, great for families and stuff.
Yeah.
So that's why it's everybody's number 6 on this list, 1,006 overall.
I guess I should play it.
So it's-
Yeah, you should.
Yes.
It's real fun. I think
play it at a convention, Steph. Just like, you'll love it. Like, just be a kid with it. Like, literally, I played games at this, like, full-on grown adults. Everyone's just giggling. Like, that's what it should be, right? It's just silly.
Yeah.
And a good time. And it's got cool production because it's just big 3D island, palm trees and things. It's awesome.
Yeah.
It's got some table presence for sure. But that's everyone's number 6. So let's get into BoardGameGeek's number 5.
All right, number 5 is 1005 overall, and this is a game that Mike has wanted to play for a very long time, and this is Rise of Tribes.
I have no idea if it's even worth the wanting.
It's been on your mind.
It's been on my mind for so long. I don't even, you know what it is? I'm jealous. Nick got to play this game once upon a time.
Nope.
Didn't you?
Nope.
Were you playing it?
Nope.
So I really just glanced at this
Yes.
game one time and I've been obsessed ever
100%.
since. You played it.
Nope.
No, you played Dragon Castle that night and I got obsessed about that. So anyway, this whole thing originated from...
Well, first of all, Steph, have you played this game?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have.
See, everyone says,
Talk
okay,
to Mike about it.
should I even care? I've been told like it's fine.
I have a feeling that I'm probably in the minority that didn't love the game, but I don't know. It has a weird area control mechanic that didn't really work for me. I don't know. It just
Okay.
there were some things that just didn't work for me, but the whole like beautiful, it's being as a gorgeous production. So I
Yes,
get
it
why
is. That
people
is
are
what I
attracted
want.
to it for sure. For me, it was just there's other games I would rather play.
Okay, and I have heard a few other people say that it's like it's fine. But it does look really great. Like
Yeah.
like the little meeples or animeeples or whatever. It just looks nice. It's very nice looking production. And that's all I have to go off. I just looked, I was like, whoa, what's that? And then I got,
I think you saw it first at Dice Tower Con, right?
yeah. And then I played like Quacks
it's
of Quedlinburg for the first
very
time. and-
easy to target other people and make them really badly
Okay.
lose. I don't know. Maybe,
Okay,
maybe that's
okay.
just what happened in
So-
my game, and it was rough. Because there's nothing you
No,
can
I
do.
mean, maybe there's, again, I've heard people like not super love it. I'm sure there are other people who do. I don't know where to fall.
I mean, it is rated fairly highly, but I don't know if that's because of a Kickstarter or if that's because people love it. I don't know. But yeah.
Yeah, I don't either, but I just have always wanted to try it and
Yeah.
probably never will, but it's fine.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
fine. It's on my brain always.
Yeah,
It's
well,
always
you
there.
should definitely try it. Try it at a con.
Good call. Good call. Zero risk that way. Just lose a bit of time. What's
Yeah.
But that's number 5 and 1,005 overall. So let's get into our number 5.
Our number 5 is 1030 overall, called Tang Garden. Now this is really recent. I only learned it and got it this year. It just came out, so it's already rated so highly. That's amazing.
Yeah.
It's really fantastic. Not only is it gorgeous, it's really gorgeous, but not only is it gorgeous, but there's tile placement and there's only 2 things you can do on your turn. You can either grab a tile from the top of one of the stacks, if it's face up, and put it on the board, and then you collect some things if you match up some sides and stuff, or you can decorate the garden. And so you will draw some number of cards, depending on the different face-up stacks of tiles, and you will get to choose one of those and collect it. So it's a little bit of set collection with the decorations that you're doing, but you're limited to what decorations you could put on the board depending on the tiles that are out there. So every space might hold a person, or might hold a bridge, or might hold a tree, or something like that. And so you're trying to collect the different trees or the different birds, and it's very easy. You're either putting a tile down or you're decorating. And so it's a management thing of trying to get everything you want for your goals, because you have these people that want to see different things. So a lot of the people want to view the landscape. So if you have placed a tile down on a little disc, you will be putting down a landscape tile. So you're creating these beautiful panoramas as you go. I mean, the whole thing is just like wonderfully beautiful.
Yeah.
And so it's just like, it's really lovely. I loved this.
Yeah, it looks so beautiful. I think it's on Tabletopia, and I might give it a go. But it's one of those ones that like looks so nice. I'm like, I just really want to play it physically in front of me, really bad.
I mean, they did a great job with it on Tabletopia. Or Tabletop Simulator, or wherever I played it. And so you still get that beautiful feeling, but it is still beautiful in person. And yes, you should.
Yeah, it looks like $1 million. It really does. Yeah. And it's, I've heard a lot of people say also like it's a really great game. So I'm super excited. Maybe I should be excited about this one, not Rise of Tribes.
Oh,
that's beautiful.
This is
but
like
empty.
So much
This is
better.
full. All right, that's Tang Garden, everybody. That's
Tang Garden.
our number 5. Great game. Let's get into Board Game Geek's number 4.
You know what 2 plus 2 is, Mike?
4.
You know what number we're on?
4.
And it's number 1004.
And that looks like you have like 6 legs, because we're talking about Xenoshift Onslaught specifically, which is like a big cooperative deck building game where you're fighting like
Starship Troopers kind of
hellish bugs. Yeah, and
hellish bugs.
I think you've talked about this one before. Now that you mention it,
Yeah,
we have. Yeah, it's great,
cool.
hard co-op.
Yes.
But it's a co-op game where it's kind of like Starship Troopers in terms of these giant, just horrible bugs, and you're in these kind of like space armor, looking
or space marine things.
Yeah, kind of thing. And then essentially each person has a different part of the base they're like protecting. So Mike could be protecting the armory, Steph, you could be protecting like the laboratory, and I'm like in the barracks or something like that.
Just sleeping.
And essentially, just hanging out, sleeping. And essentially, you're going to get a row. There's 3 waves. The waves get progressively worse. The first one's already hard enough, but nonetheless, you're going to get 3. You get you're going to get a wave of bugs in front of you, a certain amount of bugs, and then you then put out cards in a line. Like I'll put out this trooper here, then I'll put out this here, and then this here, then this here. And then basically what happens is you're going to flip over the first bug, and then those 2 things, boom, they fight.
Yeah.
And then
so the 2 things are most in the middle. So you're literally like in a line.
Yeah, and then if we kill the bug, that bug goes away, all the cards slide down, the next card goes up, and that same trooper then fights that. And essentially you just fight back and forth, and you hope that you win out. You basically hope that you set yourself up. Yeah, you set yourself up enough cards in the right order to defeat all the bugs. But the bugs have a bunch of different special abilities, so sometimes it'll be like, it does this to the 3rd person in the line, and it attacks them, or
messes
you
up
have
your
to
whole
switch
plan.
stuff around, messes with it. But it's really, really cool because the game feels really, really co-op, because you can kind of freely give each other cards. So I could be like, Mike, your life's going to suck. So here, take this big grenade. And he can have it. And now that's his card now. He doesn't then give it back to me.
Yeah.
But you can kind of like really help each other out like that and make it really cooperate together to make it so you can survive this onslaught, which is really, really hard, and the waves get worse. And then it's also a deck builder, so then you are buying new cards, new crazy big power suit dudes, you're buying new guns, armor, all this stuff. The cool thing is, and I like when deck builders do this, when you buy a card, it goes immediately into your hand, and you can use it right away. So you can use it that exact same turn you buy it, which is super nice. And then it's a normal deck builder where you shuffle back through and stuff. But it's really, really hard, really, really fun. And it kind of came out as like a big Kickstarter, and then it kind of just like flew under the radar. There's also a second one that introduces like weather and even worse bugs. And
it's way harder.
So what if I don't like bugs?
Then you probably won't like this. They're big gross bugs.
And they don't
like
make them
bugs.
pretty.
Yeah, you probably won't like it. The game, I think you would like the game mechanics of it.
Yeah.
But it should be like you have a whole bunch of pies, and we're just trying to eat the
just
pies.
my little side of it real quick.
Yeah.
Like,
make
you know,
it less.
We have a
that's-
line of people.
That would be so much better.
Yeah,
that
I
would
agree.
be better. I agree.
But I believe they are unpalatable on purpose. Like the bugs are meant to be upsetting, and they are. And somebody look at them like that looks like a nightmare.
That looks like a night. Yeah, the cards are like nightmares basically. But it ultimately is a very good game. If you like tough co-ops, give Xenoshift or Xenoshift Dreadmire, which is the second one. But you can mix them up. If they're standalone expansions, and so try it out because it is a very fun game.
Cool.
Yeah, and that's why it's everyone's number 4 or 1,004,
cool.
really. So let's go ahead and get into Board Game Geek's number 3.
Dang. All right, number 1003 is Steph's favorite game of all time.
Yep.
It's called Wings of War, Famous Aces.
Famous Aces, the Red Baron.
Planes.
I don't know.
Not true.
Pilots and
Steph
stuff.
loves planes.
Well, I
loves
mean,
planes.
I would try it.
Yeah, right? I would try it.
I would not.
So
No.
I looked up. None of us have played this game. Obviously.
No.
I looked at this game. Essentially, it's kind of like a World War II game. I believe it's World War II, and you essentially get a bunch of different planes. The planes have like cards that have like maneuvers on them, and it seems like you're putting them out
Like a
in
dogfight?
Yeah, you're putting them out in a line rather, or in some kind of sequence, and that way you're like maneuvering around. I think you have
That's
special
kinda cool.
abilities. It seemed like a game I probably would like, but nonetheless, it did. I was like, that's kind of an interesting take on because you're playing cards. And it's supposed to simulate like an aerial dogfight. Like
I
an
mean,
aerial
it kind
combat
of sounds
type
like
thing.
the X-Wing game.
Yeah.
It's possible it is. Yeah.
I
actually
think
don't know.
it's probably one of those games that gets into where it sort of tries to deal with like piloting and stuff in a realistic way. Like you have to come out of this turn to go into that thing. I would imagine, and it's kind of cool the idea of like sort of programming a little bit.
It seemed like
It's
that.
kinda
I
cool.
wasn't entirely sure. If you play this game, put it in the comments below because I just kind of looked into it quickly, but it seemed fine. Yeah, it seemed cool.
I mean, I would try it. I don't think I've played something like that before. So
No, yeah. So I'd give it a shot.
Yeah. But that's
Board Game Geek's number 3.
Wings of War. Board Game Geek's
Let
number
us know in
3.
the comments below if you like that game.
Yeah, please let us know all about it. And in the meantime, we'll get into our number 3.
our number 3 is 1014 overall, called Die Stauffer Dynasty. Or the Stauffer Dynasty. I played it first in the German version, as a lot of Euros come out in Germany first in German. But yeah, this is fantastic game. You're only doing one of two things on your turn. You're either going to, this is what you're likely going to be doing, is dropping dudes down to gain a presence on the board, or you can simply like put a guy over here to collect some sort of resources and stuff that you might need. Like little dudes or whatever. So you have a big dude. I call him the chef because he has like this big hat thing that looks like a chef. And you have your little workers at it. So the big guy is worth the value of 2. And so each of the locations requires some number of presence. So you would need to spend some number of guys to get there and put it there. And so you're trying to collect these different areas. And each round, over 5 rounds, 2 things are going to score, possibly. 2 areas are going to score. So you want to try and get there and gain some majority. But all the while, you're looking at your end game goals and trying to make sure you have guys positioned appropriately so you can score points from your end game cards. And so when you score a region, all your guys come off. So you're like, oh, no. But you get points for them. But it's so hard because wherever the king is, it's easier to get to that location. But if you wanted to go like 4 spaces away from the king, you're going to have to like journey there, dropping your guys as you go. So not only do you have to spend to get there, but you have to then spend dudes to put on. So you're running out of dudes very quickly. And so every time you get to claim an area, you get little tokens underneath, which could be a set collection or could give you a bonus, like don't have to pay journey costs. So it's a one-time thing that you are spending if you want to spend it, and they're always amazing. So you want to try and do that. The areas that score, if they replenish extra little tiles. So sometimes the areas have lots of tiles, so obviously those look more juicy, and people are going to try and fight over the stuff with more tiles because that's more benefits. Like, it's really good.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, it's a really nice, very thinky kind of Euro game where the king is walking around and you're trying to, like, plan out everything so you have all your end goals to get the points and do the stuff. And
That's cool. That's interesting.
Yeah,
I like the idea of journeying and have to drop people off along the way and kind of managing your people.
Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah.
Very rad.
No, it's great. It's fantastic.
I love it. That's why it's our number 3, everybody. So let's go ahead and jump into Board Game Geek's number 2.
Alrighty, this is 1002 overall, and this is Stronghold 2nd Edition.
That's a
which is also by Stronghold
company.
Games and Portal Games, but nonetheless, Stronghold.
Is it
sounds
really?
like a Bonacore thing, yeah.
Yeah, it's totally a Bonacore
hilarious.
thing.
I was gonna make the joke, but you know.
Sounds like a Bonacore thing, you know. We have not played Stronghold. I've always heard that Stronghold's really good though. Steph, have you played it?
I have. It is 2-player tower defense game. So one person's trying to storm the castle, the other person's trying to defend. So both roles are very different. I did get to play defending, and I seriously lost. I mean, it's really hard to like manage everything. I mean, the castle's really big. You have to like find all the, control all the different tower parts, and they're coming in from all sorts of angles. I don't remember the main mechanics of the game, but I remember really enjoying it. I mean, it was long. I mean, it's very in-depth. It kind of gave me the same, like, longness as War of the Rings, so it's kind of hard to compare the two because they're not really the same because they're not. But if I was going to play a game of that heft, I guess I would always play War of the Ring. So,
interesting.
But it's worth trying. I mean, I had a good experience playing it, so I don't think it's one that I would often play, and I haven't, so.
Copy that.
Okay.
I feel like 2-player games fall into one category, either kind of like on the shorter side or just the biggest game of all time. There's not really a middle ground. Like, where's a 90-minute 2-player game?
Put your favorite middle ground 2-player game down in the comments.
Most
that's
play
a
in
good
30
point.
minutes or like 4
3
hours.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. There aren't very many middle of the road.
It's interesting. I know they're out there.
Fields of Varl is my favorite, but again, it probably...
I'd say baseball highlights, 2045 is kind of the middle, but yeah.
That's probably more in the middle, because Fields of Varl, people would argue that it's on the heavier side, but, you know.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I
Interesting.
mean, Stronghold is definitely worth trying. I actually still own it, so I need to play it again.
There you go. Boom.
There you go. It's still in
Put a
that
stamp on
collection.
it. Stamp
That's
approved.
1002 and number 2 from Board Game Geek overall. So let's get into our number 2.
Our number 2 is 1084 overall, called Keeper. And Keeper is another big Euro because I like it.
Would you say it's a keeper?
It's totally a keeper. It is. So what's interesting is like you have your meeples, you have your spaces on your board. If you build some buildings you can use, whatever's on your board will come back to you for meeples. But the meeples that you place out in the middle on the different locations out there, they might not come back to you because once you claim a board, any meeple on that board will be yours. So if you place all your meeples there and you haven't claimed it, well, guess what? I'm going to go claim that board. And at the end of the round, all those meeples will come to me. And so you're collecting all these different resources like pigs and horses and hay and all these things. And you're trying to make them into points somehow. And that could be set collection on your tiles, or it could be, different like circus or festival tiles that you have. So there's different ways to score, of course. And it's just a lot going on. Very beautiful, very in the key universe kind of thing. I mean, so the boards are flipping.
Rural.
You flip the boards and they go like this.
Cool. I love that. That's all I want. I've always wanted to try out more of the key games.
Yeah.
Just because I know that there are a good handful that are really solid.
Yeah.
Including Steph speaks very highly of this one.
Yeah.
So the key games in general are like pretty solid, and Keeper is another one of those.
Is definitely
A
a
keeper.
keeper.
Yeah. That's why it's our number 2, everybody. But we
Number
got
2.
one more for each of us. So let's get into Board Game Geek's number 1001 overall, technically.
Yeah. Number 1001, which is number 1 for this list for Board Game Geek, is actually quite poignant right now because Mike just finished this book series. And
mere
this is
hours ago.
The Reckoners. Yes, and so this is based off of The Reckoners, which is a book by Brandon Sanderson, a book series, a trilogy. Really, really good book series. And this one takes place in the first book. This is a game about like basically the first book with some added stuff in it. So overall, how'd you like the series?
It's good. It's about bad Superman.
Yeah, it's about bad
It's
Superman.
one of superheroes existed, and they were all really
Yeah,
evil.
so it's like this universe where all these people got randomly powers, but powers also make them evil. So there's all these
corrupt
superheroes,
them.
and they're all super evil, and they just like run cities, and they just like are just the worst people on the planet.
Yeah.
Super cool book series, and they made a game about it. Big
Yeah,
Kickstarter
because there's a
game.
group of Reckoners in the book series that are there's normal humans
Normals.
dedicated to fighting epics, as they're called in the book series. So this one follows kind of the first one where you're fighting Steelheart is your main villain. And it's sort of a Yahtzee game. It's a cooperative Yahtzee game where you roll out dice. This is like the first time I remember seeing game trays. It was a big game
Yeah,
trays
this is one of the
production.
first game trays I
But you
played,
roll
yeah.
dice and you do a few different rolls, and you'll get different icons that will allow you to fight the kind of minor epics, sort of like henchmen. And then you can also do research, because the Reckoners, their whole thing is figuring out each epic has a weakness. And so
Yeah.
you're trying to research their weakness so that you can ultimately overtake that epic. So you need to get a certain amount of research to be able to eventually take on Steelheart, who is again like evil Superman. And so you're rolling dice, and together you're trying to manage getting research, fighting these henchmen, eventually trying to take on your main villain.
Yeah.
It was very cool. It was a really fun
Yeah,
game.
it's
I'd love to play it now that I've read the books.
Yeah, it does get even more fun when you read the books. But nonetheless, the game itself is really, really solid, really fun. Yeah, crazy production. I mean, just like insane production.
It looks
Maybe a little
awesome
too-
and definitely one I want to play. So
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a very fun co-op,
really cool.
regardless of whether you read the books. And then read the books because they're great. It's a really great, cool universe.
Yeah. So that's the Reckoners, which is 1001
Good choice.
overall, number 1 for this list. Check out that game, and in the meantime, we'll get into our number 1.
our number 1 is 1095 overall, pretty new, called Ecos, the First Continent.
Bingo Earth.
Woo-hoo.
Bingo.
Just sort of playing a game,
Yeah, you
sort
are
of bingo.
Yeah, you kind of like a little bit of bingo.
You're
but
calling
with,
out these
with
resources.
continents and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, we all love this game. We've talked about this game a couple times now.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a game where it's the game itself actually in terms of what you're doing is actually pretty darn simple, which is one of the reasons why I like Ecos a lot, because essentially you're pulling these
It's an
tiles
access
out of the
level there,
bags,
yeah.
and the tiles will have some kind of element or something on them, like sunshine or like grass or something like that, and then everyone has cards in front of them. The cards take these certain elements to be able to play the cards. So essentially you draw a tile out of the bag, and then everyone gets that element, and essentially you're just covering up stuff on these cards. Once you fully cover up a card, you can then activate that card. And it just tells you exactly what it does. It says, hey, put out a water tile because you're building out a continent. Hey, put out a hippo. Hey, put out a shark because you're putting out all these different animals.
Get 2
and
points
stuff.
for every hippo that's in a
Next to a
group together.
mountain. Yeah, or something like that.
Alright.
So it's ultimately very simple, but there's a ton of cards, and they all like bonus and work off of each other in
Yeah.
these really weird ways. So there's all these like kind of really deep strategies you can do with ultimately kind of a simple game mechanically.
Yeah, it's solid.
Yeah. And Steph, you like this game too,
Oh
right?
yeah, I mean, I had a great time playing this, and it should come out more. But again, games. But
Yeah,
I have it. I want to play it more. It's just
Yeah.
on
Well,
the
I will
list.
say
It's
one
in
thing about
rotation.
Ecos. As much as we love this game, it is 2 to 6 on the box.
don't play 6.
It is 3 to 4 in real life, maybe 5.
I played 2. 2 is perfectly great.
2 is cool because
2 is okay.
You pull
I
out
just like
2 tiles
having
per
more
turn.
people going on. But 2 is honestly, the only thing is it goes 5 to 6, play 2 to 4.
Because you can combo stuff together. So sometimes if it's a 5 to 6 player game and everyone has something that's going to, card's going to activate, which is going to combo into that card, which is going to combo into that card, and 3 people are doing that, it becomes a very long turn.
Yeah, because a lot of cards will also give you elements. So you can tap a card, do its stuff, and then it also gives you like a grass element, which then you can put on this, which then fills up that card, which means you can tap, and you can do these really cool turns. And the way everything interacts with each other on the board is super, super cool. But like, yeah, when you get 5 to 6, it can start dragging. Like, it can go on
but
for
stuff
a while.
does get really built out, which is cool. But
I would also think it gets a bit chaotic if people are doing their own kind of thing, and maybe all those hippos you placed, and people are wanting to kill those hippos or do other things. So, so I feel like it could be a bit more chaotic with more people.
I definitely did that. Someone was building up hippos or some sort of water mammal.
I think it was something like he wanted hippos in a line.
And then I got a shark, which is like, hey, you can eat everything in a straight line. And I wiped out like 45 minutes of work for somebody. And I felt real bad about it, but I did it because I'm like, well, that's the game. But I was like, ooh.
Yeah, and when you have more player counts, that kind of stuff happens less often.
Because by the time it gets back around to you, the world might be so different.
Yeah,
which is like a cool, different challenge, but it might not, it's not as much to our liking.
But it is really, really good. The production is outstanding. There's all these different kind of animals. Again, a ton of cards. It's really, really good. Yeah.
Just looking at it, I was admiring it.
It's right over there.
It's a cool game. That's why it's our number 1. It's in the top 1,000 and a little bit more of board games overall. So it's a good one. Check it out, everybody. But that makes our list. So what do you think? What do you think of these games that are in this 1,000 to 1,100 range? Kind of a tight window. But there's a lot of good games in that section of
there's a lot we left off our list. A ton of stuff we left off our list.
It's super cool. So what do you think of those games? What do you think of our picks? Take a look at that range of games on BoardGameGeek yourself and choose which are your favorites and put those in the comments below. Let us know which games you're liking. If you have an idea for a list you would love to see, as you've seen, we've done a whole wide range of stuff. So put it in the comments. Let us know what you'd like to see a list on. We'll see if we can make a list out of it.
Yeah.
And I think that's it. Yeah.
I think so. Steph, is y'all good?
All good.
That's all we need then. Well, until next time, everyone, thank you so much for joining us. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. And until next time, I've been Mike.
I'm Nick.
And I'm Steph.
And that is us from the 3 Amigos. Bye, everybody.
Bye.